Of course, excited. Excited about the win. You know, tonight we had some first game stuff that happens, first game jitters and stuff. And we had some people who have been phenomenal in practice. You know, one guy I'm really heartbroken for is Dante Allen. You know what I mean? He had a great preseason, and he's a freshman. I got to get him on the stage, just a freshman. And this was his first college game. But he's somebody who's going to be a big part of what we do. You know, and then another one I thought that really played well for us was Ernest. I'm yelling at him all game to get a rebound, and then I look up and he's got 14. You know, we had 5 guys in double figures, which is big. We turned the ball over a little too much. We shared it about right, but you know, for us, we have been playing and practicing so well that this one, just for our identity and our standard, we were almost there. We weren't there, but it was the first game, so I give them the benefit of the doubt.
Jay, what was the guys revealed that a special visitor to the locker room presented you with a game ball?
Yeah.
What was that moment like?
It was big, you know, because one, I've never seen my wife that fired up. So it was exciting to see her like that. And just you know, she's been the biggest part of my journey with this stuff. So just sharing this moment with me means the world. She is part of the reason I'm planting this seed in my head and why I'm sitting in this seat is because of her and everything she sacrificed for me. So without her, I wouldn't be able to sit here and be here.
Just for the record, the guys did say that they contemplated some water.
Yeah.
And that it is coming at some point.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll come after the championship.
You know, obviously you can only learn so much about your team over the course of practices and scrimmages and stuff. So I guess over the course of 40 minutes, you know, what did you feel like you learned about your team tonight?
We have good resilience. And the one thing that carried over was our rebound and our physicality and our ability to get to the free throw line. We've done that in our scrimmages. It carried over in this game. Now, this was the first time we dealt with some type of adversity, with them coming out in a 1-3-1 in zone, and haven't played 1-3-1 zone in 3 years. I've watched almost every game the last 3 years preparing for this one. And so just being able to adjust on the fly and figure out how we need to attack it and what we need to do, and then just staying consistent and staying poised was kind of the parts that I took away from the game.
Is 3 years worth of film a normal preparation? Or
No. It's the first game. You're trying to, you know, you can't sleep, so you're trying to figure out stuff to watch and get there. And then Coach Mincy is one of my best friends and coaches. A lot of people don't know that. But, you know, we kind of grew up together as assistants. And so, you know, after the first 2 possessions, I look over there and he's smiling. Oh, this guy is unbelievable. Pulls out a 1-3-1 zone. But, you know, he's got a great team. They're going to do a good job moving forward. He does a great job.
He came in and talked about the relationship that you guys have and the, you know, how you greeted him last night when they came in to shoot and all that. Just the hug you guys had, that was not a thank you for beating me by 17 hug. That was a guy who was genuinely happy.
Yeah, no, and we've had long conversations before this. Like we said, we're good friends. We've discussed a lot of things. Moving forward, we haven't really talked in the last 2 weeks, but then he called me last night when he got in town, and I waited around for him when they showed up just to say hello. But he's someone, like I said, I consider a great friend in this industry. So that hug was like just a friendly hug, and him telling how excited he is and how happy he is for me to get my first win and stuff.
Is this, I mean, obviously, not every game will go like this, but to have 5 guys in doubles, to have, I think it was 6 or 7 guys taking at least 5 or 6 shots, nobody more than 10.
Yeah.
That's pretty, that's going to be an approach I think you're going to like. If you can find a lot of nights like that, that's probably a pretty good recipe.
Yeah, it is, and I felt we were bad tonight, to be honest with you. You know, this wasn't even a good night for us. And a little bit was the zone, and them just throwing us off a little bit, and then the first game jitters.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of first game jitters, and our flow and our pace and our just continuity wasn't there like it should be. But this is what our stat sheet should look like. You know, I think we can end up with maybe 6 in double figures, but Malik, I feel, just moving forward, will be our lead scorer. And part of that is just the position he's in at that 4, and being a bigger 4, and just the advantage and the mismatches he'll have on a daily basis. We got to get him to rebound some more. He can't be at that position and only get 2 rebounds. But then, you know, for Trey and True to figure stuff out on the fly was important as well. And then Sheldon barely played, it felt like. He was still able to impact the game. And then the guys off the bench, solid. Marcus has had a great preseason. And just his ability to be a connector, as I like to call it, be an ultimate glue guy. He's kind of like, You know, I've been teasing him. He doesn't like it because he's not a Warriors fan, but he's kind of like our Draymond Green, just with the different things he can do. So I was excited for him to play well too.
Did you script rotations a little bit, or just kind of just read and react what the situation?
Today was a read and react. I had a script, but then 1-3-1 in the zone, so you got to be able to adapt on the fly. And some guys probably didn't play as much as I wanted them to, especially being Solly and Timo. But just the way the game was going, and in that middle part of the second half, I thought that first group was playing really well, and I didn't want to kind of mess up the rhythm we had got in.
Coach, how do you think your team fared against the zone, and what adjustments did you make on the fly to adjust and combat against it?
It fared pretty well. You know, we have prepared, of course, against the 2-3 because that's the zone that they show. So we did 2-3 and they came out in the 1-3-1. So we kind of ran our man offense against it. And then at halftime, we showed them exactly what they need to be looking for. And then they came out in the second half and they executed it perfectly.
And then defensively, just what did you like about your team's performance tonight, and what are some of the things that you'd like to clean up?
I'm trying to be positive.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were great defensively with where we've been. You know, the ball got in the paint too much. I thought our ball screen coverage today really struggled. But the one thing I am excited about is the guys just continued to battle. And they played the whole 40 minutes and they figured it out on the fly. And it's going to be games like that. And especially for this to be the first game against Jacksonville and moving forward, you know, with looking forward to Thursday. You know, I just saw the score on my phone, so they must be pretty good. You know, I know some of the names on the team, but I haven't got to watch them yet. I wanted to focus on this one, but got to turn the page quick.
Jen, I want to ask you about 37 trips to the line, just what it means to get to the free throw line that much. How big a part is your game, and also what it meant to you to see Jim Larinaga there?
You know, this emphasis on the free throws is a huge part of what we do. It's one of the things we measure. We always want to make more than they attempt. And through 3 scrimmages, we've been able to do that. And for us, with our size and our physicality, where we built, we got to get to the free throw line. We got to capitalize. And we made them today. We're almost shooting 80% from the line. If we can do that every night, we'll be right in the mix. And for Coach L and his wife to be here is huge. You know, huge. Like I've always said, and I'll say it because it is true. But this is the program that he built. And all the success you look up in the banners come from him. So just he's welcomed me with open arms ever since I got here, and to see him at the first game, him and his wife was just a blessing to me.
This Jacksonville team's obviously going to win. They can win a bunch of games.
Yeah.
You saw the Bethune score. I didn't want to scare you by asking until you revealed that you had seen it. Is it, without seeing the Bethune tape yet, obviously, is it a reminder that the margin right now is just so thin? Like, you just don't know who anybody, on any given night.
You're right. You don't know who anybody is. And I think a lot of people right now, you don't know who your team is. Because everybody has so many new players. You know, and tonight you can practice and you can do stuff, but you really don't know until you go through these first couple of games who you are, what you can be. You can have an idea of what you think it's going to look like. But you know, I think everybody right now is still trying to figure out their team because everybody has so much new. There's only a few teams that have, you know, great retention. But with Bethune, you know, a big part of it is like they have high major transfers. You know what I mean? Like a kid, Artorio Morris. I recruited him when I was at Texas. He's a McDonald's All-American, I believe. You know, he got in some trouble, and that's how he ended up with Bethune. But they have, I mean, he's an NBA talent. So that game of playing, he's like the same caliber of player that we have and that Auburn has. So it doesn't shock me. And then you have a guy who averaged 20 last year. I want to get his name right, Mr. Bradley, I think. So, you know, they have, it's the day of the portal. You know, those guys usually wouldn't be there, but they are there. So we got to adjust and be ready to compete.
You've really said that size, positionally, and defense and rebounding is what you're trying to accomplish here in your first year at the U. After seeing your team play tonight, how satisfied are you in that aspect of things?
I'm enjoying the win, but I'm not satisfied because one, we didn't play to the level of the standard, but two, also it wasn't who we have been. Yeah. And I have to realize that part of that is because it's the first game. Guys are pumped up, overly excited. But you know, we always want to keep teams to under 70 points. We did that. Usually we want to have 6 or less made threes. They came out and bombed 4 right away. So we lost that battle. And then the field goal percentage is right around, what they shoot, 46 for the game. We want to have that around 40. So, you know, it gives me a lot to talk about. You know, from our standard, I would say we're probably like a D defensively, from where we've been and how we play. So we just gotta get better and move forward.
Ernest, over here, Michelle Kaufman from Miami Herald. Congratulations, you addressed the crowd before, after. Now can you just tell us, what did you see on the first night? What did you learn about your team tonight? Thanks.
We're resilient. You know, one thing, and I've said it in the summer, you know, being asked about, like, our chemistry, we're there, you know, we're bought in. We love each other, just to put it point blank period, we love each other. And I feel like when you have that, everything else takes care of itself. When we get into like intense games, back and forths, it just really helps us to, you know, overcome any run that the other team goes on and allows us to keep playing our basketball.
And Ernest, just when did you find out, you know, you're gonna get a chance to, you know, talk to the crowd before the game, and just how special was that, you know, you were the one to get to do that?
Yeah, no, I think they told me probably about maybe a day or two prior. But you know, everyone knows like I'm a good talker. But obviously just being in that moment, like I appreciate that. Because again, I mean, everything I said was true, came from my heart. And just being honest, you know, we need the fans every single night. And we appreciate their support. So.
League 20 points tonight, 10 free throws as well. Was there like an extra emphasis on getting to the line today, or?
I mean, it wasn't like an emphasis to get to the line. It was just playing downhill and just giving what the defense gave me. He did a good job sealing down low and opening up space for me to attack and to make the lob over the top when the big came over. So I was just picking poison at this point in the game, and we just kept running the same play over and over in that 1-3-1 zone. So it just helped in my favor.
And you mentioned, you know, playing downhill. Just how much of an emphasis is that from Coach Lucas for you guys, just playing downhill and attacking the basket?
That's huge. That's our bread and butter. Getting downhill, getting on the break, all that type of stuff. Just attacking them relentlessly every single time we get down the court. So playing off two, getting in the paint, getting paint touches. So like it just helps us on offense to get advantages throughout our possessions every time we get on the court.
Malik, just how special was it, you know, first game at Miami, you guys got the win, you scored 20 points. How special was tonight?
It was super special for everybody, not just me. You know, Coach got his first win, he got a double-double. So, I mean, there's a lot of good play from us. We just got to keep going every day and then practice hard every single day, and then it's going to show when we get out on the court each day.
And obviously, I mean, everyone, you know, it's been a topic all through the offseason. Everyone's new to the team, everyone's gelling. What did you learn? I mean, you can only learn so much in practice. You have to wait till you guys actually play another team. What do you feel like you guys learned about yourselves tonight?
Like he said, we were resilient. I mean, they had a 1-3-1. We wasn't expecting the 1-3-1 zone tonight, and we came out there and figured out we were stagnant in the beginning, and we figured out certain concepts that would get the defense to spread out, and we attacked from there, and that just helped us there. And then just being solid on defense, but that comes with time and just playing with these guys, and just being more of a communicator on the defensive side. And we're gonna get more stops on that end.
Ernest, 5 guys finishing doubles. Nobody got more than 10 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Is this kind of the blueprint of what this team's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like, you know, any team that really cares about winning, that should be the blueprint in general. You know, obviously, you know, that's something that Coach said at the start, before the start of the game. Let's just get the assists up. You know, just dishing the ball as soon as we get 2 feet in the paint. You know, kick it out. Again, with our size inside, we should be expecting teams to sink on drives, just you know, to negate and take that out. And that opens up shots. You know, Timo, I think he hit 2. Great shots, great looks. Everyone from Marcus, everyone down the line shooting on the perimeter. That just opens up our offense and makes it easier for us to make reads.
And is it fair to assume that because this was Coach's first win, that he may have gotten a little wet inside the room?
Man, we were talking about it, but we chilled off. We're definitely gonna get him this season, though, for sure.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, we're gonna get him though.
But yeah, his wife did surprise him with a game ball. So
Yeah,
he
he got the game ball, for sure.
Yeah.
Ernest, the offense really kind of found its stride towards the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you as a lob threat, and just how do you think that the offense adjusted to Jacksonville's zone in that second half? How do you think the adjustments were?
You know, first thing I'll say is that the game isn't over until, you know, the buzzer goes off. It doesn't matter what point you're at in the game. We understand basketball's a game of runs. It doesn't matter when you make that run, but it's going to happen. So obviously, you know, going deeper into the game, that's just tells us, you know, not let our foot off the gas. You know, keep playing our game, keep going to our strength. Everything that we worked on, the little details, and like Lee said, you know, getting into that in the middle of the paint, opening the option he has to either score, kick it out, or throw that lob to me. We just got to stay with it until the game is over. So.
Ernest, how would you evaluate defensively, how you guys did?
We definitely could have done better. How much they had tonight as a team?
I think
60. You know, obviously, I think 70 is what we want to hold teams to. But I mean, even for me, obviously, I hold myself and all the guys to a higher standard. We could definitely hold them to a lower amount of points. There were definitely a few plays that, you know, we let them slip by, easy buckets, tiny tic-tac fouls that we shouldn't have given up. But I mean, defensively overall, you know, we did good. Definitely could have done better. Like I said, eliminating the straight line drives into the paint. But overall, like coming out the game, you know, the threes that they hit too was something that, you know, woke us up and let us know, you know, we got to be more aggressive, not shooting in the gap, trailing instead. Like I said, just understanding what their offense is and knowing how to stop it night in and night out. So.
Malik, you had a couple of those high-low, lobs to Ernest towards the end of that game. Just how is that chemistry between you two, just on the offensive end and the defensive end, as the anchors of the front court?
Yeah, I mean, it plays a big role of me and E having that connection. When I see E in the dunker and the big has to play 2-on-1 with me, it's kind of hard for him to make a decision because I got good touch around the rim, so I could throw the little float shot if I want. And he has to pick and choose what's the poison he wants to take on those lob plays like that. So it's either lob or I get 2 points or I'm getting fouled and going to the free throw line. And that's what happened today. I got 12 free throw attempts, missed 2 out of the 12. So that's pretty good. And then, yeah, just the defense connection, just communication between me and E. And just knowing that we're the guys, we're the anchors, and we got to do a lot of the big man stuff. So just being physical down there and just knowing that the communication is super important between me and E.
for either of you guys, Ernest, you made mention of it earlier. This is a team that loves each other already. How did you guys fast track that? Because this was a room of strangers not too long ago.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you look at me, League, and Trey. Obviously, we're Florida guys. You look at DA, you look at Key, Marcus. You know, they're back from the crib too. So obviously, having a handful of guys from the state who knows, you know, this is home, and obviously, you know, Timo, Noam, Solly coming in, Shelton, you know, them guys, JJ, True, you know, just welcome them in a sense, you know, letting them understand that, you know, it's big. You know, it's big for us. It's huge for us being at home. I wish it's a feeling that more guys than not get to experience in their lifetime, being able to play at the crib. Like, I'm from Orlando, but again, Florida's Florida for me. And, you know, it's a different kind of pride that we carry on our shoulders, on our back every single night. Wearing that Canes reminder across our chest, you know, it means more special. So obviously, just in the off season, you know, showing them around, clicking up with the guys, you know, doing different things. In a sense, not to sound cliche, but showing them the way of life, you know, as a Floridian. So I feel like that definitely helped in the chemistry over the off season.
Malik, can you share anything about Jay coaching today? Maybe halftime messages, just kind of throughout the game.
Yeah, during that halftime skit when we finally, when Coach brought us in and was showing us about the 1-3-1 they had, it just had great adjustments throughout the game and just put people in positions to make plays, 2-on-1s, put the defense in so many concepts that it's hard to guard, and that's what we did. We got pick and rolls and got into the pocket and was able to make passes over the top. So, I mean, just those little adjustments that Coach made, it helped us get over the top and expand that lead from 5 points to 15 and then 20 after that, and then the game was over from there. So we just had to continue playing and just keep going hard. But, yeah, he had great adjustments coming out of half, and it helped us a lot on the offense end.
I just want to give credit to Miami and ultimately Coach Lucas. He did an unbelievable job getting those guys ready to go. Obviously, you see the adjustments they made in the second half. They finished out strong, and he's going to do a really good job with this team this year, and the future is extremely bright for Miami.
Tim Reynolds with the AP. We've seen a lot of coaches embrace after games, and you can tell the obligatory ones against the genuine ones. You guys seem to have a genuine moment out there. Just what was that like for you to congratulate them on win number 1, even though obviously you wanted to come in and delay it a couple of days for?
No doubt. So, I call him Jay, but I told him last night, you know, he's one of my best friends in life, and so we talk often. I told him, you know, I owed him one. He gave me my best recruit when I was assistant at the University of Florida, and I told him last night we came in to shoot and he was there. He met me on the court, and I said, look, man, I'm gonna give you my best effort tomorrow, but I owe you one. because you helped me sign a first-round draft pick in Florida. It was you, not me, and I owe you one. So, you know what? He's one of my best friends. He's just such a humble guy. When you talk about like loving people and being transparent, he's an unbelievable leader. And so, just to be able to see the position he's in now, to continue to be able to guide young men and build just men of character, and it's awesome to see. And so, I couldn't be more excited for him, his future, and just ultimately his family as well, man.
What do your kids take away from tonight? I mean, you see the potential of that Miami team. They're going to be a good team, obviously, and you created a lot of headaches for them. I know there's no moral victories, but what do you take away from this as a building block?
You know what? We have 11 new guys, and you know, a lot of people count us off. Just as far as, you know, we lost 2 really good players to different high majors, and this program's going to constantly produce really good players that end up transferring up. That's just what we do. That's the day and age we're in. And so I just told our guys, you know, a lot of them, they were hurt. They're in there crying, and I was surprised. You know, you got guys who come in and they're crying, acting like we just lost a championship. And so for me, I just told them I love you. You know, being able to have guys of character and understand that the first game of the season on the road at a high major, you guys lose and you feel like it's the end of the world. I want to coach those type of dudes. I want to coach those type of men. And so, like I said, it's not a moral victory, but at the same time, we're going to watch the film, and that Miami team will allow for us to be better and compete ultimately in our conference.
Jordan, what do you feel like you guys did well in the first half, and then kind of what changed? What did they do well essentially in the second half?
So I'll tell you what Miami did well. Miami did a great job of adjusting to our zone. Obviously, we came out in zone. I don't think they were prepared for that. They probably thought we were going to play man. And so we kind of threw a curveball at the very beginning of the game. And I think, you know, they kind of knew their strengths. They didn't force outside shooting, which we did a pretty good job of defending the 3. But at the same time, give them credit. You know, they didn't just keep on shooting threes from outside. They started to use their size to their advantage and ultimately their athleticism. I think the one thing that I just took while sitting over there, I was telling our staff, they did a great job of getting it on the rim and then forcing us to try to get a physical box out. And so we did a bad job also of just not fouling and putting them at the free throw line. I think a lot of times we could have showed our hands and not necessarily grabbed them, but again, their size, their athleticism, it eventually wore on us.
And you said you and Jay are close. Just how did you guys meet and build that relationship?
So when I was assistant at Florida for 6 years, Jay, I've known him all the way back to his time in Texas. And so on the road, oftentimes we go get dinner, we sit down, we'll talk. One of the things that I talk about, a young man named Trey Mann, and I was kind of the lead recruiter there, and he gave me a lot of advice when recruiting him. And so just being able to know, you know, anytime we make any type of move in this profession, a lot of times he'll call me and say, hey, what do you think? You know, I'm thinking about doing this. And it's funny that my wife, she actually came down to the game with me just to see him and obviously watch our game. But she was like, it's funny to see how you guys have transitioned over the years in the position that you guys are in now. And so, like I said, he's always been a call away. His time in Duke last year, I was calling him, asking him pointers, just drive and kick, you know, their transition offense and the way in which they move so freely, which they showed a lot tonight as well.
Coach, what were those specifics that Miami did in the second half to combat your zone defense? Just what type of things did they enter?
So I think they went, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't had a chance to really dissect the film, but the one thing that I thought they did a really good job of, they kind of had a 3-guard front in the first half. And then you see in the second half, they kind of went to a 2-1-2 kind of approach where they were attacking our high post and they were really putting pressure on the rim as far as if that guy didn't score in the middle, then they were crashing everybody. I don't think they had any type of transition defense in mind. And so it was getting on the rim, and then they had multiple guys attacking that rebound, trying to score, and ultimately getting to the free throw line. And so for us, like I said, they made adjustments. Obviously, they have a really good coaching staff, and like I said, they should be very proud of themselves.
No, you haven't seen these other games, but Bethune took Auburn to overtime tonight. Colgate gave Michigan State all it wanted. This was not a 17-point game, like the scoreboard said at the end. How thin is the margin now between the quote-unquote mid-leagues and the major leagues?
Well, first I got anxiety because I believe I got Thorne Cookman and MTE, so that means I got to get ready for them. But
Jay's got him through.
yeah, I'm about to say, man. But you know what? When you have all these young men come from all these different programs, you just never know who you're going to get. And so I just told our staff walking in from the end of the game, I'm like, we have to find a certain group of guys and different rosters and matchups to play. I mean, you take a guy on our roster, Chris Lockett, at the end of the game, he was highly impressive, and we put him at the point guard position. And I look at our staff and I say, guys, didn't he play backup point guard Boise when we recruited him? And they're like, yeah, coach. And so we're still trying to make adjustments as well. You know, you see him in practice, but at the same time, the margin is so slim because you have so many new teams and new guys, and they're filling these different roles. And so, like I said, I think Jay, he's probably going through the same thing. He's trying to figure it out with his roster, who meshes well and who can play well and ultimately finish games for him.